Welcome back to the Kino Cave, everybody, and today, taking another break from the MCU Kinospective to bring you another tier list video. And today is the turn of Season 1 of The Flash. Before I go any further, guys, if you like this video, please give it a like down below, comment below what your favorite episode of The Flash Season 1 is, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. So I love The Flash. It's one of my favorite shows ever. It's one of my comfort shows. It got me through my teenage years, no matter how difficult things got when I was a teenager. The Flash was there for me every single week with new stories. And however the show may have gone on to become, those first few seasons of The Flash will always be special to me, and I will always hold them dearly. So I ended up rewatching it for the first time in a couple of years with my girlfriend, who was watching it for the first time, and she ended up falling in love with it as well. And so I figured, since I got Barry on the brain, I would make a video ranking the episodes of Season 1 of The Flash. So without any further ado, let's get into the tier list, and starting with Episode 1 of Season 1, The Pilot. Now, it'd be very easy to put this in S tier because it is the first episode, the one that kicked everything off. It's a great introduction to all of our characters, especially Barry, but also Iris and Joe, and Cisco and Caitlin, and Harrison Wells as well. It would be very easy to put this in S tier. However, I am going to put it in A tier because I don't want to be too generous. I want to save S tier for the truly special episodes of Season 1 of this show. And I think that while obviously this is the one that started it all, the show still had to find its footing a little bit in Season 1. I find that some of the special effects aren't quite perfect. The suit could do with a little bit of work, which it does kind of get as the season goes on, and the characters aren't quite nailed down yet, I think. So for now, it's going to sit in A tier. Moving swiftly on, funnily enough, to Episode 2, The Fastest Man Alive. Now, this is a solid episode. It gives us more of a time to get used to these characters and introduce us to their dynamics with Iris and Eddie, as well as more of Cisco, Caitlin, and Barry getting to know each other, becoming friends, and also exploring Barry Allen's powers a bit more. Specifically, the fact that he needs to eat a lot of calories in order to sustain the amount of energy he's spending when he runs. It's not a perfect episode. The villain is kind of weak. It's kind of just Mr. Freeze, but instead of a cold gun or a freeze gun, he can duplicate himself. So, not the best villain of the week. There's some much stronger villain of the weeks coming down the line. And so for that reason, I'm going to put this in B tier. A good episode, an enjoyable episode, but far from perfect. Next up is Things You Can't Outrun. And this is a much more solid episode of The Flash. We get a bit more with Barry and his father, played wonderfully by John Wesley Shipp, and some more of an exploration of him and Joe's relationship, as well as a pretty solid villain in The Mist, as well as the introduction of the metahuman prison below Star Labs, so we're not just killing villains all the time. Also, The Mist is played by Anthony Carrigan, who's a great actor who shows up in so many different things, more recently and more famously, Superman as Metamorpho. So, always love to see Anthony Carrigan showing up in one of these shows, or even in a movie. And so for all those reasons, I think this is a much more solid episode than the previous. It's going in A tier. Next up is Going Rogue. This is the introduction of Captain Cold, played brilliantly by Wentworth Miller. Genuinely one of the greatest characters across the entire Arrowverse, and played by one of the best actors to be in the Arrowverse. I love Wentworth Miller's performance here. It only gets better from here on out, but even as early as the first episode with Captain Cold, Wentworth has nailed down this character, and it is great to see him and Barry's dynamic as it begins and then as it evolves throughout the show. I love their dynamic together. Grant Gustin and Wentworth Miller play off each other extremely well, and it's just an all-around great episode. This one's going to have to go in S tier, guys. Just for the villain alone, it is incredible. Next up is Plastique, the 5th episode of the show, and this one is not great. I don't really like military subplots in these TV shows. It's overdone. It's always boring. Even though we have the great Clancy Brown playing General Eiling, even he can't save this kind of mediocre episode. I don't think Plastique was that great a character. The actor was fine in the role, but she doesn't really get much to chew on in this episode. I find that she's just kind of there to introduce the military subplot, which later leads to the stuff with Gorilla Grodd, and also it's an excuse for Barry to learn some more powers. So for that reason, this episode, it's going to have to go in D tier. Honestly, most of the time when I'm rewatching this show, I will probably skip this one. Next up is The Flash is Born. So this is kind of like a PSA on bullying in this episode, which is fine. I like the idea of Barry Allen getting revenge on his childhood bully. And, you know, I think he's a fun character. He's definitely an intimidating character, and a very realistically intimidating character, as he becomes kind of obsessed with Iris, and he thinks that he can kind of wear her down and make her his girlfriend by just being really awful, which is a thing that happens a lot in real life, don't get me wrong. So I enjoy that. I enjoy him as a villain, and I definitely enjoy when Barry supersonic punches him. And also, we get the origin of the Flash's name in this episode, as well as the budding relationship between the Streak and Iris West. So for all of that, this episode's going to go in B tier. Not amazing, but I think it's a strong villain, and there's some really strong moments throughout this episode. Next up is Power Outage, and I never really enjoyed this one when I was a teenager. I thought it was a bit boring, but now I really like it. I think that Blackout is a really fun villain. Obviously, him stealing the Flash's speed was super dramatic at this point. You know, back before this happened, like every few episodes, Barry just losing his speed constantly. So I really enjoyed all of that. We got some great moments towards the end where Harrison Wells has to face the harm that he has done to people in Central City due to the particle accelerator explosion. So for all of those reasons, this is going to go into A tier. A really solid episode with a really great villain and some brilliant moments towards the end. Next up is Flash vs. Arrow, the first official crossover of the Arrowverse, and goddamn is it a great episode. Rainbow Raider is a brilliant villain, a great way to pit Barry and Oliver against each other. Obviously, unlike a Batman v Superman situation, these people are already friends, so we have to come up with a reason for them to fight, and I think using Rainbow Raider as a way to corrupt Barry's mind to make them fight, it's great. And the fight itself is brilliant. You know, speed versus strategy. It's fantastic. It's a great fight. And I think both heroes land some pretty solid hits. And of course, ending with Oliver snapping Barry out of his trance was brilliant. I love this episode. I love seeing these characters collide for the first time. So of course it's going to go into S tier. Next up, The Man in the Yellow Suit, the Christmas episode, the mid-season finale. Guys, this is one of my favorite episodes of the entire show. I watch it every single Christmas. It just screams Christmas to me. I still remember watching it for the first time and being so scared, but also so excited by the Man in the Yellow Suit, the Reverse Flash. I thought he was so cool. The yellow suit with the red lightning. It was incredible. I love this episode. It is perfect. We get Barry confessing his feelings to Iris as well, which changes their dynamic. And it kind of ends in a somber way. Reverse Flash gets out, Ronnie is still on the loose, and we have Barry and Iris growing apart now that Barry has confessed his feelings. It's kind of sad. And also then that tease at the end where Harrison Wells speaks in the Reverse Flash's voice. I could not, for the life of me, figure out how Harrison Wells could be speaking in Reverse Flash's voice. I did not believe at all that he was the Reverse Flash. It was such an incredible watch at the time, and every single time I still get chills when Barry and Reverse Flash have that fight in the football stadium. It's just so good. So, of course this is going in S tier. It's one of my favorite episodes of the entire show. Next up, Revenge of the Rogues, the first episode after the mid-season finale. And what a great episode to come back to. We get Dominic Purcell as Mick Rory coming in, joining alongside his Prison Break co-star Wentworth Miller as Captain Cold. And both of them fighting Barry with heat and cold together. It is such a great episode for just moments and hype, and then also Barry fully revealing himself to the world as the Flash. And goddamn, that shot when he just runs into the cold gun and the heat gun at the same time, and you see it freezing one half of his suit and burning the other half to get them to cross streams. It is so cool. I love it. I love seeing these characters together. I love seeing Captain Cold and Heatwave together for the first time. And we continue the mystery with Harrison Wells being the Reverse Flash. So yes, this episode's going into S tier. I promise not all of these episodes are going to be an S tier, but this one just has to be. It's such a great episode. Next up, The Sound and the Fury. This is an episode that I actually didn't love when I watched it for the first time. I didn't really love Hartley Rathaway as a character, but he has really grown on me since. I like his connection to the team. I like the Pied Piper's like powers of using sound and all that. And I think it's a really solid one, but unfortunately, it's not perfect. There's not as much greatness with the characters, and also we start introducing Linda Park, who I think is a pretty weak love interest for Barry and pretty much exists just to get in the way of Barry and Iris getting together. So this episode is going to go in A tier. Really solid still, great villain, and you know, a great ending on that bridge, but unfortunately doesn't reach the heights of the previous episodes. Crazy for You. This is kind of the romance episode where Barry and Linda are really getting together, and it's fine. It's a fine episode. It's one that I would usually skip as well when I'm rewatching the show, just not enough in it to really keep me hooked, unfortunately. I can barely even remember what happens, to be honest. I just remember a lot of Barry and Linda and him having to like prove his love to her, I guess, or something. Yeah, this one's going in C tier, guys. Next up, The Nuclear Man. The military subplots are back, but Ronnie Raymond is also back, and I am actually kind of sad that we didn't get more of Robbie Amell as Ronnie Raymond, because I love Robbie Amell. I think he plays Ronnie Raymond really well, and it's unfortunate that he doesn't last longer in the show, but I always love when he pops up again in ghost form or whatever throughout the show. So yeah, it's great for that, but otherwise the military stuff really gets in the way. It's going in C tier. Fallout. We're back to the really good episodes again. I love Martin Stein and Ronnie Raymond as characters and them working together. I also love Ronnie's relationship with Caitlin. No boyfriend of Caitlin's has ever really measured up to Ronnie, I think. I think that just he is where her heart lies. And yeah, for all of that, this is a really great episode. It's going in A tier. Out of Time. We're back into the great episodes for real. I love this episode. I love Mark Marden as the weather wizard. The actor's name escapes me now, but I think he's fantastic. I love Barry trying to stop the tidal wave at the end, and of course it ends with him going back in time for the first time. So full of hype moments. I remember watching it for the first time and going nuts when Barry finally kissed Iris and they confessed their love to each other properly. And then Barry going back in time to a day earlier was just such a cool cliffhanger. We also get that incredible scene where Harrison Wells, or Eobard Thawne as we find out, kills Cisco, which is full of dramatic weight. I thought that was going to be it. That was it for the rest of the show until Barry went back in time. So this episode has to go into S tier. So many great moments in this episode. Next up is Rogue Time, and this is another brilliant episode. The Rogues come back once again, and this time they're joined by Golden Glider, which is really fun. They kidnap Cisco and what's Cisco's brother's name? Dante. And of course, Cisco betrays the team to save his brother, which is full of dramatic weight. And I love the Barry seeing the consequences of time traveling for the very first time. So this has to go into S tier, guys. It's a great episode. I love rewatching this episode, and I just love when time traveling wasn't it was still kind of a cool concept back then in the Arrowverse. Next up is Tricksters, another one of my favorite episodes of the show, guys. This is an episode that's just full of incredible moments with some incredible actors. We have Mark Hamill reprising his role as the Trickster from the 90s Flash TV show, and he's just doing the Joker, and that's absolutely fine because he really sells it. It is brilliant. I love to see Mark Hamill here. They obviously spoof the Star Wars I Am Your Father moment as well, but another reason why this is one of my favorite episodes of the whole show is we get the origin of the Reverse Flash, or at least as he exists now. We finally see Eobard Thawne, played by Matt Lesher, who was always my favorite Eobard Thawne. I thought he was brilliant, and we see how he came to be where he is, when he is, and why. So Tricksters has to go into S tier, guys. What a brilliant episode of the show. Next up is All-Star Team Up. This is the one where we get Ray Palmer and Felicity Smoke joining forces with the Flash, and this episode is not great, unfortunately. I don't love it. I find Ray strangely annoying in this episode for some reason, even though I like him in Arrow and in Legends of Tomorrow, but I don't know why he pisses me off in this episode so much. Yeah, I mean, also the bug lady who was in Arrow before this, I think, she's just not a good character or a villain. I didn't enjoy her at all in any of her appearances across the the Arrowverse shows, so yeah, this is just not a great episode, unfortunately. It's going in D tier. Next up we have Who is Harrison Wells? And this is where things start to come to a head. The team starts to figure out who Harrison Wells is. They figure out that he's the Reverse Flash, and it is full of dramatic weight. We also have we of course have little cameos as well from Quentin Lance and Laurel Lance, or the Black Canary. That's also a lot of fun. And we have the introduction of Hannibal Bates, real original with that name, guys, or the Everyman, which I think is a fun villain. I think he's a solid villain and a really enjoyable one. So yeah, enjoyable, fun episode. It's going in A tier. Next up we have The Trap, and this is where things start to come to a head for Team Flash. They are setting a trap for Harrison Wells, which he springs, but not in the way that they wish, and this is just full of traumatic tension. Things are really winding up for a conclusive and explosive season finale, and also penultimate episode of the season. This is a great episode, guys. All the episodes from here on out are really solid. It's going in A tier. Next up is Grodd Lives. We get Clancy Brown returning once again as General Eiling, and also the introduction of Gorilla Grodd. Of course, a very famous Flash villain from the comic books, and it's a fun episode, it's a good episode. However, I will say it does kind of stop the main plot of the season dead in its tracks, even though things are really ramping up for Team Flash and in terms of capturing Harrison Wells or Eobard Thawne. So it does feel kind of weird to just throw in a Gorilla Grodd. It does feel weird just to throw in a Gorilla Grodd episode just right here where we're supposed to be ramping up to the season finale. So for that, it is going to go in B tier. Next up is Rogue Air, the penultimate episode of the season, and this is one of my other favorite episodes of the entire show. I love this episode. I love Captain Cold. We see a bunch of our villain of the week from previous episodes in the season. This is just a great episode all around. I absolutely love it. And what really brings this episode to a head for me is the fight between Reverse Flash and the Flash, Firestorm, and the Arrow all together. Such an incredible hype moment. I remember watching it as a kid. I remember listening to the score for this season. The score for all the Arrowverse shows is incredible. And I remember listening to it a lot when I was a teenager because it just brought me back to those hype moments. It was so good, and this episode is so explosive and a fantastic episode. It's going in S tier. And finally, the season finale, Fast Enough. I really like how the show gave us our big final fight the episode before the last, because now we've just got time for drama and we've got time for winding down. So this is after Eobard Thawne has been captured, and he offers Barry the choice to go back and save his mother, the thing that's been haunting him his entire life. He finally has the chance to go back and change it. And then we have just some incredible moments with all these characters as we wind down. Of course, the stuff with Eddie Thawne, where he realizes that even though on paper, literally, he's not important to the story, his importance is revealed through his connection to Eobard Thawne, and that wonderful sacrifice moment at the end where he erases Eobard from existence, as well as Barry's decision to not save his mother because he realizes that the life he has is already good enough. What an incredible episode. What a great performance from Grant Gustin in that scene. Everybody talks about this scene, the scene where he says goodbye to his mother and embraces her and comforts her as she dies. Amazing scene, perfectly acted. This is the true greatness of the show. And of course we end on that cliffhanger where he has to close the singularity. This is a brilliant episode of TV. It has to go in S tier. If there was a tier above S tier, it would go into that tier, because this is a goddamn near perfect ending to a season of television. So with all that said, guys, that is my tier list of the episodes of season 1 of The Flash. Sorry if I got a little carried away with some of them. Some of them, there's less to kind of talk about because it's a standard Villain of the Week episode, or there's just not that much going on. But I think some of the better episodes, I feel like I also got carried away in just saying it was amazing because moments and bits of acting from the cast. But this is a great season of TV, guys. One of my favorite seasons of TV ever. I think, unlike most shows, The Flash season 1 it hit the ground running, literally. And I don't think any season really reaches the heights of it anymore, but we have some really solid seasons following on. And if you guys want to see me tier list the other seasons of The Flash, leave a comment down below and like this video so I know that you want to see more of these. I love the Arrowverse and I'd love to make more videos about the Arrowverse, so please give me the excuse to talk Arrowverse some more. I'd love to actually dissect specific episodes and characters from The Flash in a more analytic way, whereas this is more just a ranking of the episodes of the season. Comment down below and let me know if you'd like to see that, because I would love to talk more about The Flash with you guys. With all that said, do you agree with me? Comment down below. Let me know what your favorite episode of The Flash is. Like this video if you liked it, and subscribe for more videos like this one. Hopefully the MCU Kinospective will return in another 2 weeks, and I'm sorry if I'm stuttering a lot in this episode as well. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you in the movies.